Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm really excited to be here with you to talk about smart cities. My name is Austin Ashe. I'm the general manager of GE Smart Cities business. And today we're here to talk to you about innovation in our smart cities by our smart city citizens. And what I want to talk to you about today is, what is GE doing in this space? How does IoT play into it? And how can you, the members of the development community, be a part of building the smart cities of the future? First and foremost, we are extremely grateful to be partnered with with Intel, who has brought us fantastic capabilities that we are actually putting inside of our City IQ platform, and it's making it possible to unleash the power of sensor data across the cities. What you see on the left-hand side of our page here is the City IQ node. The City IQ node goes on top of traditional streetlights in a city. When you think about streetlights are kind of a very interesting piece of real estate in a city. It allows for them to, they're ubiquitous. The streetlights have a certain elevation and mounting height, which is an interesting place for collecting data. And there's power running to it, which allows you to leverage existing infrastructure without having to pay for expensive installation of sensor components. And so by repurposing a city's infrastructure into digital infrastructure, we allow for the city to take advantage of energy savings from something like LED technology and lighting controls to help pay for an upgrade in actual IoT smart city technology. And what we do specifically is really at the heart of it, we're putting smartphones on poles, right? When you think about what a smartphone is, it is a single device that has multiple sensors in it, right? Anywhere from 14 to 16 sensors, depending on how you count. We have about 30 sensors in our node, just to start with. And what that sensor is doing is it's working with neighboring sensors around it using Wi-Fi and BLE. It's also using Intel and computer vision analytics to extract metadata around its environment. It uses environmental sensors to collect information about the surrounding environment. And what it does is it brings all of that data up to the cloud through an AT&T LTE network. Once it's in the cloud, we leverage GE's Predix platform to transform that metadata into APIs that allow for hold of the data coming off all the sensors. So just picture for a minute, 3,000 or 3,200 to be exact of these sensors in a city like San Diego. 3,200 of these across the entire city. They're extracting data from morning to night, and all of that data is coming up to the cloud, and it's being presented to you, the developers, where you can literally put your fingers on the pulse of the city. You're going to get access to information about traffic, about parking situations, about pedestrian movement. Other types of media are available, environmental data, and so many others. I mentioned that there's 30 plus sensors in our node, so there's an entire list of data sets that you can get from us. And so what we're wanting to do is change that civic engagement model with city official and citizen that says, look, whether you're a system integrator, you work for a professional development firm, you're a high schooler, you're a software developer hobbyist, anybody can be part of solving some of the city's biggest challenges. And by doing that with software and applications, much like we've seen in the smartphone movement, a city can actually customize their own app store, leveraging your creativity, your ingenuity. Now, when it comes to the Intel processor and how we leverage this infrastructure to extract data, I mentioned computer vision analytics as one of our capabilities. And what computer vision does that's so magical is on day one, it can do things like you're seeing on the screen. It can extract traffic data. It can extract pedestrian data. It can extract parking data. And then we can do wonderful things with over-the-air updates and train this computer vision to detect other things, be it potholes or even wild dogs or anything that's of interest to the city. We can actually tell that particular sensor, hey, look, we need you to give us this type of information and bring that to the cloud for us to develop applications on. What this means is that this is the gift that keeps on giving, right? Every day, all over the city, there's going to be new use cases that can be discovered and built into an application that leverages this type of data either in real time, like something like parking, where you want to leverage the opportunity to know where there's open parking spaces, all the way back to historical data. Traffic is a good example where you can use traffic data to optimize street lights and help them get timed quicker, or just do a historical analysis of traffic and parking to help city planners understand where do they need to spend time and investment dollars to make the city run smoother. Similar type of capabilities exist on the edge using Intel processing, but this time it's, instead of using optical sensors, we're using acoustical sensors, right? So one of the very easy examples that we start with is something like gunshot detection, something that's a little bit near and dear to all of our hearts, given the news that we've heard since yesterday and since Las Vegas. You know, these types of situations happen, and while we can't prevent all of them, what we can do is detect them quickly, give that information to first responders, and help people respond in a different way and help eliminate some of that violent crime. Gunshot detection is just one of the things that we can do today. Other things that are also very interesting are things like glass breaking, right? Screeching tires. What does a screeching tire tell us? Well, it could tell someone's going too fast, but it also could tell a city where there are near misses happening in a street, which could help further their Vision Zero initiatives. Some people just want to know where it's quiet, right? So imagine building applications using the acoustical data, but not looking for events, just mapping out, hey, where's a quiet area I can go outside today and study or work on a project or meet up with friends, right? And maybe you want to explore different parts of the city and you just want to learn about what's going on there. So optical and acoustical sensors give these nodes the ability to see and hear and feel and taste and, well, maybe not taste, but you guys get the point. So you're starting to see the picture here, right? We're establishing an infrastructure layer, a digital infrastructure layer, where every day, no 2 days are the same in a city, right? No 2 minutes are the same in a city. But every day when people and cars get on the road and they start moving around and things are happening, we're helping extract that metadata, no personal identifiable information, but that metadata into the cloud and into the hands of the development community to build apps to help solve either niche use cases or even broader challenges across the city. And as I mentioned, this is not just a presentation and a vaporware to help rally the troops. This is a call to action. We are going to be installing, we've actually already started installing, but by the end of first quarter next year, we will have installed 3,400 City IQ intelligent nodes in the city of San Diego, where all of that data will be brought to the cloud and available to the development community to help us build applications that solve some of San Diego's biggest challenges. And we're excited to see the other cities that are coming up behind San Diego and where those applications are actually going to transfer and where maybe applications might need to be built to differ the situation, differ the use case in each of those cities. But either way, it's an extremely real and exciting opportunity for all of us to become part of solving cities' challenges. Now, when it comes to applications, we have obviously leveraged Intel and their ecosystem and built some partnerships of our own. The people that you see on this page are the people that are solving cities' challenges today. They have incredible applications, incredible technology, incredible resources and reach across the country and even across the world to help tackle some of these biggest problems. And so if you're interested in becoming part of these teams that are actually in the field today, doing things like parking optimization, parking enforcement, traffic optimization, public safety, these are great companies to be looking at and watching. And granted, these are all professional companies that are maybe focused on the operational efficiency of a city for the most part, which is fantastic. But what's interesting about smart cities using IoT is it's not just the professional development community, but it's the hobbyist development community, which we'll talk about in a second. But let's just name a couple. I did mention gunshot detection earlier, so it's really important for everyone to know that we have partnered with the world's premier gunshot technology company named ShotSpotter. They're based here in Silicon Valley, and they have an incredible track record of reducing gun violence in cities. And so by embedding their technology inside of our City IQ platform, we can help broaden the reach so that it's not just areas of gun violence that we're focusing on. It's blanketing the city on those one-off situations where someone decides to try to do something terrible. We will know about it and help respond even quicker. Genatech is another fantastic partner of ours who has developed this clearance application that helps with video management capabilities, bringing in video from multiple sources, being able to store it, save it, slow motion, redaction of data. All of these things are made possible through someone like Genatech, who can help bring together an incredibly complex type of surveillance situation and make it very simple and easy for operators to use both at the EOCs and in the field by first responders. Another one is Streetlight Data. And Streetlight Data is a fantastic company who has really decided to bring advanced analytics and big data from mobile devices to quickly understand travel patterns and take that to the next level by bringing in City IQ data into their platform. And so now they're able to pinpoint causes of congestion. They're able to do comprehensive analysis on demographics and really help us understand the trip purpose that people are making. You just think about that for a second. Having data coming in that's telling you why people are going in certain places and where they're spending time is extremely powerful to the business community from an economic development perspective, and also from a safety perspective for cities to understand where do they need to spend some time and energy making sure that the city is just running smoothly in those areas. Another example is PTV. PTV is a fantastic company that does traffic optimization and adaptive signal controls. With their PTV Optima application, they're bringing in data like pedestrian data, parking data, traffic data, and they're really building this predictable time travel model and capability for cities that helps them reduce congestion in a massive way. It's known that 30% of congestion can be caused by parking alone. And so by bringing in parking, traffic, and pedestrian together, tying that in with the streetlights, you can build a dynamic model that significantly improves the cost of not just what it takes the city to run more efficiently, but also to the citizens, because you all are spending less money on gasoline. And as we prepare for things like autonomous vehicles, it's really important to note that these types of applications can only get better with more and more data, especially as we start talking to those autonomous cars. The last one I'll mention is Open Data Soft. And Open Data Soft is this incredible data platform that's sort of an ingestion engine. They create a platform by streamlining all of the city data and managing it. They have incredible visualization capabilities of the data. And by enhancing the collaboration across the community, they're unleashing citizens to facilitate, a really collaborative process of bringing in all these disparate systems and combining them into one application or multiple use cases that get shared. And so what's interesting about this, and the moral of the story here, is that everybody in the city is leveraging the same infrastructure, the same data sets coming together. How often do you hear about a city department having one solution and sharing it with the other departments? Very rare, right? Because of the way that their goals are set up and the way their budgets are set up, it's very challenging for them to do that. But by giving them an all-purpose infrastructure, all the departments can share off of one platform. And because they're opening that data up through their open data initiatives to these companies, they're actually able to leverage one common infrastructure and data set as well to build out these solutions. And so I talked about some of the companies that are using this today, using the City IQ data to better off their applications, but also innovation applications are being built. We have conducted an incredible number of partnerships with cities across the country. The one you see here is obviously San Diego with SDSU, where we had 1,200 students and entrepreneurs come together over a weekend and build about 25 applications just in that day. And so over the course of this year, we've seen over 100 applications actually get built and leverage the data to be deployed. Some fantastic applications have come just from the creativity of this. I kind of use the analogy of the smartphone a lot because who would have thought Angry Birds would have been an application built that people would use? But think about DreamBiz, right? DreamBiz application was one of the winning apps in San Diego that helps entrepreneurs and businesses make really smart decisions about their future using the real-time and historical data, right? Moist was another fantastic application that talked about watering the grass and helping save on water conservation, leveraging the humidity data that's in the air. The Router app, an application built in Mexico City, was an application that helped single parents monitor their kids as they walk to and from school to make sure that they get to and from school safely when they can't drop them off personally. And there's just all sorts of creative applications that you can go and see and learn more about and actually play with on our website that are hopefully some of the things that you guys can see. So here's a deeper understanding of DreamBiz. You can actually see the UI that they built. You can see how they built in actual dollars and people, and you can play with this tool to actually do a very fast, quick analysis on where a business might want to spend some time and energy on. The Moist application, right here, you've got the actual latitude, the longitude, you've got instantaneous time leverage with historical data coming in together to figure out exactly when that optimal amount of time is to turn on the sprinkler and turn it off. Paratransit is one I didn't mention, but this is a fantastic application that was built specifically for disabled people. They want disabled people to get accurate arrival and transportation times because for them, it's a little bit more difficult than the rest of us to just catch an Uber or catch a taxi, right? And so by bringing in that data, using something like Open Data Soft showed us, you can actually bring this data together, leverage real-time data, and actually help folks that are in need like this that can get a more accurate and predictable ride to their destination. Fantastic application that was built in a matter of 2 weeks. Go-Go Kart. Think about food trucks. How many of you like food trucks, right? We all do. Food trucks are fantastic, but the food trucks are also kind of trying to figure out how do they differentiate their business model, because let's face it, when you go to a food truck hotspot now, there's like 2 or 3 trucks, right? And each of those trucks are kind of taking turns or working with the landowner to figure out which trucks can go where, when, and why. And so think about an application that unleashes the food trucks into the city by correlating parking spaces and pedestrian movement in real time so that they know exactly where to drive their truck on some of those off days that they're not parked at their favorite hotspot. Great way to drive commerce in the city. And so we'd love to hear about what ideas you guys have to help us build smart city apps of the future. Hopefully this has given you a taste of some of the things you can do. Here are our websites, and look for more activity where you all will be invited to come participate with us in 2018. Thank you very much for your time. Yeah. Looking forward to the Q&A. I'm going to read the questions out loud and we'll answer them together. Are there any places, cities, this is from IMC Gregor, are there any places, cities, which are allowing IoT devices to drive a feedback loop and actually detect traffic, crowds, etc.? The short answer is yes. Through some of the applications that you saw today, we've got PTV, we've got a company called Inrix. This is exactly what they do. They take that data in, build it into their either in-dash software that's on your car or a mobile app device, and actually bring that back and then tie it into the system as well, so that you can get real-time alerts, sort of like what Waze does. But with Waze, it's sort of a voluntary entry point into the application. This is actual hard-coded with, here's where the traffic signal is, here's where there's people, here's where there's traffic, and giving you recommended places to go. We also have another application partner that does parking guidance, right? Someone like Park Mobile. And so with this type of information coming into that application, you can guide yourself to an open parking space in real time just by having that application. So I would view that as an automated feedback loop there as well. This is from Humdan. There was a company that monitored foot traffic during Earth Day in traffic. Okay, good to know. We will take a look at that. Can I have the URL to your website? Yep, gave that to you there. Thank you, Justine. Please share the presentation link. So we'll have Intel, our friends at Intel, share with you the presentation, no problem. And Justine provided you something there. Let's see, this is from Nitish. There is initiatives by government of India for setting up smart cities. Are you participating in that? We are absolutely interested in going international. We are a little bit of a startup within GE. We just hit our 3-year birthday this past July. And so we're really focused on the US and Canada and Mexico right now, leveraging our partnership with AT&T, but definitely look for some announcements from us next year when it comes to international expansion. This is from Shauka DJ. Is Predix the platform you're using? Yes, we build all of our APIs and our edge capabilities on Predix. Predix gives us a wonderful set of tools in their suite. We leverage Cloud Foundry, obviously, but some of the cybersecurity and scalability aspects that you run into in building IoT platforms, especially when you think about all these nodes across all these cities, managing that data volume and veracity and velocity across a safe and cyber secure network really requires best-in-class tools. And so that's why we build everything on Predix. This is from Jason. Are you engaging utilities, or how can utilities become involved in this service? That's a fantastic question, Jason. I think that what's interesting about utilities is they own a lot of the streetlight infrastructure that we see in cities today. And utilities are very much partnered with the cities in their local communities. And what we're trying to do is build a new model that shows how utilities can actually offer smart cities as this infrastructure and data set and smart city applications to the cities as a service, which can help cities work out sort of a different model than necessarily buying equipment like this, procuring it directly. They can partner with the utilities and build out more of an OpEx model versus a CapEx model, which is a fantastic win-win for everybody. The City of Atlanta deployment that we did this year actually involved Georgia Power, which is the utility there. And so we're already working that dynamic and expect to see a lot more of it next year. Okay, this is from Synth Slave. Justine had mentioned this was open to any languages, but would you happen to know if those were a prevailing language in those previous successful apps you mentioned used? I think language right now is all in English from what I've seen, but the developers themselves have sort of free reign over how they do this. So if you go to the website that we put up for the developers, you can check back and see which applications have actually translated to Spanish or French or German or any other language of use. But my guess is, since most of our installations are in the US, that you're going to see mostly mostly English. Here's from Humdan. Where do you see the physical web being integrated with smart cities? I realize security is an issue. I developed such a product for pharmacies to be able to dispense common prescribed medicine unmanned. Do you see other types of product services being provided this way? I think that there's a couple of different elements to this question. Prescribed medicine, not sure exactly how that would play into this, but what I can say is that with people and traffic data being ready at the fingertips, that pharmacy locations may want to know where people are and kind of help optimize the flow of that. As far as the physical web, I think the physical web comes into play every day when we're talking about the back end, the application layer, the APIs, right? We're all kind of dependent on the internet now. This is from Nitish. You can build app for helping the riders in case of accident to guide them to nearby hospitals, sending ambulance traffic. Love this one, Nitish. Fantastic suggestion. I think one of the most valuable use cases here is for first responders, both from a public safety perspective and a response perspective. I mean, to your point, if we could get a heart attack victim to a hospital 45 seconds faster than that ambulance would have normally gotten there by, we could save that life, right? So I really appreciate you suggesting that. That's a fantastic. Programming language. Oh, yeah. So thank you for that. From a programming language perspective, I think you've got to build an open platform that's usable by everybody, all programming languages, right? And so building common protocols in our APIs have allowed for people to leverage this using, Ruby, Java, Python, you name it. It can be integrated in and used very, very simply. Yeah, sorry about that. That was a slip. This is from Shuka DJ. How do you deal with concerns regarding privacy and security? Fantastic question. Let's take the first one, privacy. As I showed in the presentation, what we're really doing is extracting metadata from the pedestrians and from the cars. So it's never about, hey, Shuka DJ, we know where you are and where you've been and how you're doing it, right? You kind of have to point to the cell phone providers for that information. They're the ones looking for that. What cities want to know is just the metadata of how many people are here. Why are people spending time here? Where do we need to improve our parking planning? Where do we need to improve on traffic congestion, right? Where can we help accelerate bicycle adoption in the region and build out more of a mobility strategy? And so those metadata streams certainly don't violate any privacy concerns. It's just metadata. Now, from a video perspective, the cities, their department, which leverages some of the existing infrastructure that they have today, right? A lot of cities do put some cameras up in certain areas to make sure that there's surveillance and coverage there, which is really a service that they provide to the citizens to help provide that safety blanket. And so the video streams will be kept not necessarily in an open platform, but through a different dedicated platform where police and fire and first responders can use it. And then on a need to know or a need to have basis, they'll open the videos up to other folks. Now, security. I think security is also a fascinating question because you've got all these data streams, right, from 30 different sensor capabilities coming in. How do you lock that down to make sure that the people that are getting access to the metadata aren't necessarily able to get access to some of the more restrictive data like gunshot detection and video? And to do that, you have to build a platform that's both open and secure. And so we've secured the platform in 4 layers: at the device layer, at the communications layer, which is why we've worked with AT&T to build that dedicated private secure backhaul line, at the cloud layer, which Predix gives us from a data center security perspective in partnerships with Amazon and Microsoft, which you all have heard about, help us get some additional capabilities there. And then at the application level, right? So we can open the APIs up or shut them down as needed to ensure that the data is in fact open but secure. IoT Tagger. Hello, Austin. Rolling in a little late to this call. No problem. We started a little bit late ourselves, so hopefully you didn't miss too much. Was anything covered in regards to the gateways or how the information is aggregated from the devices? You mentioned partnering with utilities, such as lighting. Would the idea be to deploy the sensors or gateways or both on the utilities? Interesting question. So from a device level, we're backhauling each individual device to the cloud directly. We do that through the LTE 4G SIM cards, right? As far as gateways are concerned, we use more of a gateway approach when we leverage the Wi-Fi capabilities of the sensors to backhaul the data. And so that's when we would do that. So the idea here is give this infrastructure to either the city or the utility to put on that street lighting infrastructure, the actual street poles themselves. There's some pictures of these on our website in case you didn't get a good look at it, but it's literally like a smartphone sitting on a pole. And the design is such that it's very aesthetic. It blends very seamlessly into any streetscape. So there's no exposed wires or anything like that. Really helps a city maintain their branding. Thank you, Justine, for posting that link there. Another one from IMC Gregor. This is an obvious boon for utility municipalities, but do you foresee there being a wider use for this where private citizens would be able to use these capabilities, say for people who have solar panels or run small businesses that may benefit? Absolutely. I think that we are just scratching the surface of this capability. Certainly cities and municipalities are going to have that scale and that reach that we're looking for to make it a true IoT platform. But I think as the technology gets adopted faster and faster, you're going to see entities like universities adopt this, or even hospitals, or retail centers, or coliseums, right? Other just commercial real estate folks. And so I think that it will get very interesting to see the multitude of use cases and variety of applications that can be leveraged from something like this. Probably in the next 6 to 18 months, you'll see that. And I look forward to coming back and sharing some of those learnings with you. I really appreciate everyone spending time with us today. Hope you learned something, and look forward to talking to you all next year or seeing you at one of our hackathons to build one of the best apps ever built. Thank you, Intel. Appreciate it.